Hello there guys, as you can tell from the title, today we're going to be talking about what minimalism actually is. And chances are that you may think you know what it is, but you might actually not. So it's no secret that minimalism has become a bit of a trend here the last year or two. A lot of people are downsizing and trying to live with their bare necessities. And so between that and the very popular, the life-changing magic of tidying up, I think it's called, or the KonMari Method, between those two things, a lot of people have come to this conclusion that minimalism just means living with your bare necessities, with the very least. And I think that some of that also comes in with the fact that most minimalist YouTube creators are actually extreme minimalists. I don't mean that in a bad way at all. That is awesome. I have a lot of respect for them, and they are actually a huge part of why I started my own minimalism journey. The extreme minimalists being like the ones that are showing their areas and sharing kind of where they're at in life. And with the KonMari Method and with the trend of minimalism, people have actually completely lost sight of what minimalism actually is and what it stands for. So what I want to do is just talk today about what minimalism actually is. So first, in case you are new, you don't know my area, you don't know my space, I'm going to talk a little bit about why you should even maybe listen to me on this subject. So me and my husband started our minimalism journey just, I think, almost 2 years ago now. If you guys have followed our family vlog channel, then you've been with us for our first apartment, our second apartment, and our first house when we first started our minimalism journey. We always had messes. There never seemed to be enough space for things. Even though we kept getting bigger spaces, there was still always a mess. And throughout this entire journey, I've actually been watching the extreme minimalists on YouTube for years. I've loved them. I've always found them very inspiring, but I also found them extremely daunting, and it almost made minimalism seem unattainable to me because of how drastically different their life was from mine. So I want to just say that I am still on my journey, and I think that minimalism is a continued journey because the true meaning of minimalism and living a minimalist lifestyle is actually just living with intentionality. And to do so, it's getting rid of the things in your life that distract you from living a life of purpose. That is what minimalism actually means. So if you go on like a Google search and really look for the true meaning of what the minimalism lifestyle is, that's what you will find, not just living with the bare necessities. So the majority of my house, I do feel like it is at a point where I can live intentionally without any distractions. I've got a living room that pretty much always looks like this. Minus the fact that I don't make the bed every day. This is my master bedroom all the time. This is my master bathroom all the time. This is what my kids' playroom looks like all the time. I have this entire third floor that I could fill things with, and it is empty. Completely empty, besides some extras of our flooring and tile and one stool that needs to be up here for when we turn this into our filming space. But I also want to be honest with you guys that I still have areas of my life that I'm working on and that I'm still trying to get to that point in. Boxes that have been here since we moved in March, and obviously I could probably just get rid of. A closet that really needs some help with some upper organization. This is my garage, minus this little filming area for Ryan. Obviously, it needs a little help. This is what happens when you don't have a TV and you're not really sure what to do with this space. Still gotta tackle it. This is currently where we throw our kids' clothes after they're dirty, and honestly, it doesn't bug me. And it's right next to the laundry room. They literally could go in the laundry room, but they're there. So I am not perfect. I do not have all of the areas of my house perfectly clean. In fact, some of these areas are not perfectly clean, but they don't stress me out at the moment at all. And I'm okay with just like taking my time with them because of the fact that for me, my minimalist living is not with the intention of I need to get down to 5 shirts and 3 pants and, you know, all of these like specific numbers for things. It's just getting down to a level where I feel I am not distracted by the things around me. So for me, a lot of the big distractions were the trinkets around my house that just took up space, caused more dusting that had to be had, more cleaning that took time away from my kids. Or in my kitchen, I would have a ton of different utensils and things, but there would be one specific one that I would hope that when I opened that drawer, it was clean because that was the one that I wanted. And I came to the realization, I was like, why do I even have these other ones? Why don't I just get rid of these other ones and clean the one that I really like if it's dirty and just use it? Because it literally takes like 20 seconds to clean it. Obviously, naturally, when you are trying to live intentionally, you are going to have less and less and less things. It's just going to happen. Over time, your mindset is going to shift. If you missed my videos, I actually filmed a lot of my like purging of the things that I didn't need in my life anymore. I did a video for like each room and each area, and so you can go ahead and check out that playlist if you want to, if you missed it. But when I would go back through the footage, I would be sitting there going, Arianna, why didn't you get rid of that then? Like, you don't need that. I just noticed that over time, I would let go of more and more things that in the beginning I just couldn't let go of. And that's why minimalism is such a process. One day I could end up an extreme minimalist, and I'd be okay with that if I end up there, but my mind is not at that point right now. Or I may never get there, and that's totally okay, because minimalism is honestly going to look so different for each person, because what helps you live intentionally and what deters you from living intentionally are going to be two totally different things for two different people. Now, I'm going to bring in a whole other side of this though, that's gonna maybe, I don't know, be a little bit of tough love for some of you guys. A lot of people bring in the KonMari method with minimalism and the whole, you know, does this bring me joy? A lot of times there are things in your life that you love and do bring you joy when you look at them or you think about them. At least when it comes to the things that, you know, maybe it's a collection of things that you have, or a lot of different trinkets and things that you just kind of have around your house, and maybe you're just the kind of person that likes having those things. But the truth is that as much as that clutter at your conscious level may not be distracting you, at your subconscious level, it definitely can be cluttering your mind, because it has been proven time and time again that having a clean and clear space just brings a sense of calm and zen. And I really think that's also why when people, you know, go on vacation and they're in hotel rooms, they find it easier to relax, because, you know, there may be things back at home that they love, but they're walking into a space that is just completely clear of clutter and clear of everything, and their mind is actually fully able to process what they're thinking and live in the moment, because their subconscious mind is not focusing on all the other little things that are around. Because as much as your conscious mind may be only focusing on your child, your subconscious mind is picking up everything around you. And so you kind of have to think from that thought process as well, that although you may really love that collection of bubblegum machines that you have — I had one when I was a kid, loved them, like literally my whole room was filled with them, but at the same time, that collection may be causing more subconscious anxiety than you realize, and keeping you from actually being able to fully focus and enjoy. Whereas at surface level, it may not seem that way. I'm not saying that if you collect something, you have to give it totally up. But if you were a minimalist collector — someone actually asked me this in a minimalist group that I'm in, and they asked, you know, do you think someone can be a collector and be a minimalist? And I said, kind of like what I talked about just before, about, you know, being able to clutter your mind even if you feel like it's bringing you joy. If you meet a collector, a lot of times they'll have multiple of the same thing, and they may love the general thing that they are collecting, but chances are that they don't love each and every item the same. They have their top favorites. And so for me, a minimalist collector would only keep their absolute favorites, and maybe they would, I don't know, take pictures of the rest and create like a little photo book of them so that they can remember them. You know, I'm not sure. There's a lot of different things you could do to try and keep that collection at the same time without it physically taking up space. But really, I wanted to kind of get to the heart of what minimalism actually is, because of the trend. Unfortunately, that what it actually means and what it stands for has just really kind of separated itself. Minimalism has really just turned into living with the bare necessities, when really it's about living intentionally and having things in your home that don't distract you from doing so. So for me as a mom, obviously, I want to have a home that doesn't distract me from spending time with my kids, you know, especially with having PTSD and anxiety, being able to just totally focus and work through those anxieties without the other things cluttering my mind subconsciously. It just makes things so much better. I really hope that this video is helpful for you guys. I've noticed that there's not a lot of minimalists on YouTube that are not extremists. At least not those that talk very openly about minimalism. And, you know, sometimes I'll get comments from people that are like, that's not very minimalist. And that's when I continue to realize, like, wow, people really, they don't understand what minimalism is. They just think that, you know, if I have more than 5 items of something, then it's not minimalist, but that's not what it is. So my goal for my channel, honestly, is I'm gonna be shifting a lot more over to the minimalism and motherhood side of things. I'm gonna be moving my mental health things back over to our vlog channel, talking about them in vlogs, doing maybe sit down videos on that channel, because of the fact that I really wanna focus and hone in on this. Minimalism is just a subject that I've been getting more and more excited about, and I really feel that it's kind of missing in our YouTube community, because like I said, you know, the extreme minimalists here on YouTube, they're great, and they were an inspiration to me, and they are the reason that I even started to look into this lifestyle. But I watched them for years, like I said, before I even started, because they were also simultaneously daunting and seemed unattainable to me. So my goal is to show a more, I don't want to say attainable minimalism, because I don't want, you know, I'm not trying to be negative about the extreme minimalists in any way. For a lot of people, it can be hard to look at them and to look at where they are right now and see like how they could possibly get there. And so I feel like those of us that are kind of those like in-betweeners, we need to not be afraid of what some people are going to say that don't even understand what minimalism is, and speak out about it, because I think that it's going to, hopefully, my hope is, encourage some of you guys to maybe take those steps and to be less afraid and be less nervous about taking the steps forward to have a more minimalist or intentional lifestyle. As I've already said, you will of course notice that with living intentionally means that you are naturally going to have less things. And so I'm going to do videos still on, you know, like how I'm shopping for certain things, because, you know, I don't want to be having to repurchase all the time, things like that. I feel like another thing that people don't get to see is that some of us who are like still kind of partway on our journey with minimalism is that there is like a kind of keeping up with minimalism aspect. And so that's why I like to show you guys when I feel like things are just getting a little bit out of hand for me as someone who's living a minimal lifestyle. I want to show you guys like cleaning out that stuff. Still gonna do those videos, but I also want to do these kind of videos where I talk about more of like the deeper meaning behind minimalism as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope that it kind of gave you guys some encouragement of maybe minimalism is something that is attainable for you. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button if you're new. And as always, I will see your wonderful faces next week. Bye.